All right, everyone. Welcome to the Amani Dillard Show. I am live on my YouTube podcast channel and also my Facebook. And today I have Eric Leone as a guest. And today he's going to talk about his hometown and his music career. Okay. Yep. So today I want to talk about how was it growing up in Connecticut. And then I want to talk about your music career.
Okay. Uh, so you want me to start now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, first of all, okay, so growing up in Connecticut, boy, when I was growing up, there was a lot of cold winters here.
Okay.
Very cold. And Connecticut pretty much is a friendly state. We haven't had much problems here as far as anything. People pretty much get along. Also, I grew up in the inner city, grew up in what we used to call the projects.
Okay.
And my parents, they were very, very, a little strict on raising us.
Okay. Okay.
They wanted to make sure that we knew everything pretty much and made us study that kind of thing. So the reason why we got into music is because my parents were musicians.
Okay.
And my father was a guitarist, self-taught. My mother, she played piano. She knew how to sight read.
Okay.
So, we got to the point when we were growing up that they wanted us to come in at 6 o'clock to get us off the streets, and to pick an instrument and learn how to play an instrument. And so I picked guitar, my brother picked bass, and my two sisters, they just took piano lessons from my mother. So at the same time, my parents were my father was self-taught, so a lot of the learning we had to kind of resort to my mother, and the hour lesson ended up being like 2 hours, 3 hours, that kind of thing, until we got it right. Then it was time to go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
But we never really, it was a tough learning situation, but we grew into it, and we loved to do music, and it kept the family very tight together, and we're still tight today.
Good. Yeah.
They were very supportive as far as our music is concerned because they were musicians.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, so tell me about how you met Ronnie Song, because he produced some of your albums.
Well, also let's say this. Growing up in Hartford, Connecticut,
Mm-hmm.
Hartford is a small town. It gets smaller and smaller.
It's a small town. Okay.
It's a medium-sized town, but it's nothing like Boston and New York, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So everybody, you start hearing about people, and you're like, boy, this guy's doing this guy's doing that. Oh, I need to get to that guy, that kind of thing. So I met Ronnie because my father was very instrumental in pushing us as far as pursuing a music career. And my father had a friend who knew Ronnie.
Oh, okay.
And he brought Ronnie around when we were kids. At that time, Ronnie had just produced Melba Moore, and there was a group named Xavier that he produced. And he ended up actually, he took an interest in us, and I think he took an interest in us because we were young, and we were a group. He saw some potential there at the time, So Ronnie got busy, of course, in the music business. He was off producing people. And I remember writing a song, and I saw his manager's car out on the street, and I knew it was his manager at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And I placed the tape on the windshield of his manager. I couldn't, I didn't know what apartment in the building that his manager resided in. So, and I left the tape there. And at that time, that was 84, I believe. Yeah, 1984.
Wow, 84. Okay.
Yeah. And I was a young man at that time. And next thing I know, Ronnie and his manager was knocking on the door, and they wanted to use the song, use. So, we ended up rearranging it and making the song, the song, and I was able to kind of pen my name on a song called Night People by John White at the time. So that was back. I think that was no, I'm sorry, that was before 1984. That was
Okay.
before 1984. But just to give you a ballpark figure, I think it was around 79, 80 when that happened. And yeah, I was still in high school at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I met Ronnie. And then Ronnie periodically, we kept in touch. As we were growing musically, we were still paying our dues, and yeah, basically that's how we met. You
Yeah,
know,
some of the song you guys wrote, and I was like, man, I said, I love those songs. You can the songs that you and Ronnie produced together, you can play them songs at your house, at a wedding reception, a birthday party, cookout. I mean, you guys did an awesome job putting that project together. Yeah, you guys did an awesome job. Especially cruising, cruising. Yeah, I love that song,
yeah,
cruising.
Ronnie actually he produced the songs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I just put my
you helped
interpretation.
out. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically, you guys did it together. I mean,
yeah, we did it together, but I'm the
yeah.
artist producer.
Yeah,
So
I know you're not a producer. It's just
yeah,
you guys came together and you guys make history when you guys
yeah.
was at the
Well, what
studio.
originally happened, like you brought up the song "Cruising." So this industry is a very, sometimes you don't know what the game plan is because some people all of a sudden an opportunity comes, and this is how our friendship is.
Hmm.
I understood this. A lot of people don't understand when you have a producer, uh, uh, and he's producing people of higher status than you are, and they get the opportunity to produce somebody of some of a name. They have to literally make a choice. Oh, I need to take this. I need to get this because it's an
Hmm.
opportunity to open up bigger and more doors. You know, now, so sometimes certain things has to go on the back burner. Like sometimes Ronnie would come by and we start working on something. Then all of a sudden there's opportunity. So what I did is I always forged ahead and produced a lot of my own material. All right, and I just kept going on my grind while he was doing what he had to do. We already had forged a friendship, from me being a child and uh, and the music that we had in common. So that was there, and and you know that's just how the business worked. You know, I always forged ahead, and I started putting out music on my own. I had a recording studio. I opened up a recording studio.
Okay.
Uh, I went to engineering school, and that's how I produced my CDs. In the beginning, a lot of people start off with new technology. Now everybody can somewhat produce or be a producer, or some people call themselves producers. It's all a matter in how you look at it, you know. But I just kept forging ahead, and I pretty much pretty much made a name for myself. And then when Ronnie and I reconnected, we started really reconnecting and really forging ahead on doing some material for me, you know.
Okay.
So so now he's producing my album, uh, and the last three songs that we put out, he produced all three of those. So uh, and yeah, we're artists and producer, but more importantly, we're brothers, we're friends.
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
like.
we, we understand where whose role is what, and we have
Mm-hmm.
in order to make an organization work, that's what you have to do. You have to
Right.
understand your role, you know, and of course, he producing, but he also asks my opinion on certain things. What do I think, and I give it to him. But ultimately, the decision is his because he's the producer. It's just like producing a movie or what have you, and everybody can give their opinion, but now ultimately it's up to him.
Right. Right.
That's his role, and that's my role is to give my opinion.
Okay.
And if
Okay.
it works, it works. Sometimes he's we laugh. We have so much fun when we're doing it.
Awesome.
It's a labor of love. It's no other way to look at it. It's just a labor of love for us. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
Tell me about the song "Grew with Me."
Grooved with me.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Jeez, you're going way back.
Yeah, I love it. I love the album Cruising. I love it. And I was like, this is all I like this. This is I love I like it because it's different, and it's like it sound like yeah, it's different. That's why I like it. And it's like I said before, like I was like, man, while I'm listening to his song, I was listening to your songs the other day and I was like, um I have to interview him. I had to
Yeah,
interview him, and I said, "Who wrote his songs?" And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, Ronnie did." Okay, it makes sense.
Well,
Yeah.
Groove with Me. I wrote that song.
Okay.
That's on the
Okay.
Cruising CD. I'm sure you listen to the Cruising CD. So
Yeah. It was
that's on the Cruising
released.
CD.
Yeah.
So all the material on that song I wrote, and not all the songs. There's a couple of writers that were on that particular
Okay.
CD as well. Um, but Groove with Me, you get inspiration sometimes, and sometimes you have to be in the zone, and you have to have. For me, I have to have a good place in my heart to start writing. Like everything you write, if you're not in a good place mentally and in your heart, it's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You it could be anything. You had I don't know, argument with your wife or your husband or something like that. Your mind is just not focused on that. So that particular night, I remember feeling really good. And I was just sitting down and I was just playing around on the keyboards, because I can play a little keyboard as well.
Okay.
Just a little bit. I'm not a virtuoso, but I can write music. And so that song, The Groove, came out, and I just named it Groove with Me. I mean, it was just the groove, and I was digging it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how that song came about. Now, some songs might take me, for me, uh, some songs could take me 6 months to finish writing. Some songs can take me 15 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it
And
depends on
okay.
where mentally.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's another song, Extraordinary Lover.
Oh, okay. Extraordinary Lover.
Yeah.
I would say that song came in, and I was thinking Extraordinary Lover at the time. And then I said extraordinary. You play with words. Um, But that song came about because uh, I just felt like I was in love, and and I was able to write from my heart. I was able
Okay.
to write. You know, they say you can't be a writer until you experience life. You can't be a good writer until you experience life. So I was just thinking about the person I was in love with, and I just thought, wow, very extraordinary.
It's a nice song. You did good. Yeah, you did an awesome job. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually sung on that one.
Yeah, you deserve a so I believe that album that you released, Cruise, I believe that you should be honored. Yeah, you should be honored on Soul Train music. I mean, yeah,
I'm,
you should be honored. Yeah.
I'm happy
I
you think.
mean, you are leave I mean, you're leaving a good legacy. You have a good legacy in the
Thank you.
music industry. And
Thank you.
especially Ronnie's song, he put you on the map, so you deserve to be
Yeah,
honored.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I love your style. I love your style and I love your style. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really
well,
do.
I hope it grows on a lot more.
Oh yeah, like I said, you can play your songs at a wedding reception and at a birthday party or a
Yeah,
cookout or at
yeah,
your. I mean, you can play in your house. Like I love
yeah.
all your songs. You did. Yeah, that was you guys did really good together. You and Ronnie. Yeah. Are you guys planning on publishing new music out this year? And are you planning on being on tour or
Well, hopefully by the latter part of July, the album.
July? What's the
The,
name of the album when you haven't a name yet?
we haven't titled it yet.
You
But
haven't tell you. Okay, it
what
takes
we
time.
yeah, what we've been doing is throwing out singles
Okay,
to
there's
get
no. That's
to
not.
get
Hey, I like singles. It's okay to have singles out.
yeah. Well, that's all part of the marketing plan because the industry has changed so much
Mm-hmm.
that you don't really need to throw an album out there.
I know you really don't.
No,
You know.
you can actually throw singles out there every 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
but the blueprint of the music industry, I think, is changed from a degree that people are trying to create another blueprint so that we can monetize it as artists, so that we could go on and do what we like to do and make a living at it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you know, ever since Spotify and all the other mediums that are
YouTube Music, Apple Music.
a lot of us artists, we don't get paid for that, and we can probably monetize it, but there's a certain way to monetize it. Uh, but a lot of artists are not getting what's due to them.
So you guys are. So if you publish a song on
So we're,
Spotify and YouTube
so
Music, you want to get paid on it, or it take. That's
no, no,
what you're
no,
saying.
no, 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 no. So if we put a song out on Spotify,
Mm-hmm.
all right, or YouTube or whatever, we're putting out we put out 3 songs already.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to put out the whole album and give it away for free.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I understand now.
Now,
Okay.
I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you ever bought music or
I'm 29. Yeah,
uh,
I'm young.
but there was a time where people followed artists and supported them. Support, meaning by buying their albums because they liked the song and they wanted to support that group and follow the group. And then you were able to do shows based on the record sales in that area. So like, you know, we're not trying to give away the whole album. You know, we're
Mhm.
trying to build a fan base. We have to build a fan base in order for us to continue to do what you like hearing from Ronnie and I. You know, um, and we're trying to get that support. And I can't express that enough. You know, a lot of the musicians that are out there, I'm sure they're saying the same thing. They need support, and
Mhm.
in our music, um, well, you, in order for us to thrive and survive, we have to get some support somewhere. It's not just merch or merchandising and all that stuff. It's actually supporting the artist because music is like the soul for our hearts and our minds. Music brought people through a lot of things, and now you got maybe a couple of people sitting up at the top making all the money. I think let's take Pharrell for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Be happy. You know, how many
Okay.
how many how many spins did he get? You know, uh, he got like something like 2 million or something, and he only made something like $2,000 through
Wow.
Spotify. So monetarily and business wise, we're looking for another blueprint, and we're looking for a fan base that loves what we're doing and will support us. You
Right.
know, that's the only way we're going to survive
Mm-hmm.
because I have to eat.
And nobody don't want to work for free.
Have to eat.
No, we can't work for free. We got bills, eat, and we have to. Yeah.
So the thing is that I don't care where an artist is today,
Mm-hmm.
musically, like what if they're on the charts, number one, number two, they need support. They
Yeah.
need that support. They
Yeah.
need to make money. So in order for us to keep everything alive, unless it comes down to AI and everybody's buying AI music, then
Mm-hmm.
then the human artists, we're done. We're done at that point.
Right.
But we need support. So that's our game plan. We're not going to give away the whole album for free,
I don't
uh,
blame you. Nope.
and
Yeah.
we're giving away, you know, we're giving away
Singles.
3 songs already, singles. You can look them up anywhere you want, and you can obtain them. But you don't give away the whole
Oh
CD.
no, 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 no. You don't
So
do that.
that's our game plan, and hopefully we can garner enough support where we can be very successful from that aspect of it,
Right,
the
right.
music business, and keep
Okay.
doing what we love to do. That's
Yep.
all. That's
I'm
all it is.
glad you brought that up. I believe everybody should what you said make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
You know, it's good to publish singles instead of an album, because you feel like we can't do it for free. And
Like
some people do want you to do it for free. You're like, for free?
they,
Come on now.
what are they called? Are they the new millenniums now, where
Yeah.
they never bought a single in their lives?
Hmm.
Now that kind of thing, they're used to that now. Now it's like it doesn't mean anything. To me, it actually cheapens the music and the artist because you're just getting it for free. You might listen to it for maybe 2 or 3 times, and then
Hmm.
you don't listen to it anymore. Whereas before, I'm a lot older than you, but we used to look at the album covers. We had something tangible. We used to look at what people who played on the albums, what
Hmm.
what artist was working with all the different artists. Uh, what's the name of that artist? When is that artist coming to town? You put the album on the wall and you just literally like, wow, I wish I could meet that artist. I would love to talk to that artist or just shake his hand and just thank him for everything they're giving us in life, because music is that powerful. It really is that powerful.
Yeah. So how was it playing with Melba Moore? Because she's like one of the best female singers in the music industry, and she's been doing it for years. How you met her, and how was it playing with her?
Melba Moore is a legend.
Yes, she is
You know,
one of the
she
best.
she's like she's a triple threat, they call her. Because she can act, she can sing, she can dance.
Hmm.
She was on the Bill Cosby show.
Yeah, Fine Temptation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she was on Broadway for a number
Hmm.
of years. Now, I've never met Melba. Melba knows who I am.
Hmm.
as you know, recordings are not always done with all the musicians in the studio anymore.
So you record songs with her. Okay.
So Ronnie was producing Melba, and he needed some guitar parts on the song. So
Oh,
I did some
okay.
guitar parts, and then I did a solo. And then Melba's managers, who I met her husband, I met all her managers, uh, Orpheus Productions Entertainment. They were aware of me, and then next thing I know, they wanted me to do an instrumental, a single, on Melba, on the song
Okay.
that Melba put out this time around.
Okay.
And then we did that, and that was called Imagine.
Wow, I'm look that up.
So that's how that
Okay.
worked. Um,
So you playing for her and she's singing. Wow, that's awesome.
yeah, yeah.
That's
Melba
awesome.
she
What
was.
year was that?
We're talking. What year is it? 20. I would say 2023. I believe it was.
23. Okay.
Yeah, 20. Was it 2023? Yeah, Imagine came out like about a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Well, 2023. Right, right. So, and then one thing led to another. Next thing you know, I did a great job on that. They were excited. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I actually played on Andre Ward's song prior
Yeah,
to.
Andre Ward. Yeah, I was gonna bring his name up too. Andre Ward. Yeah.
I think I was able to pen two songs uh, that I'm playing on his on his CD. And believe it or not, Andre and I we met one time before uh, years ago, but we weren't in the studio at the same time. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So uh, there was another song presented to me and asked if I could do anything with it, and the rest is history. And I was able to get on two songs on his latest CD.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Billy Grant, Billy Brown, you worked with him, and I see you worked with Ray Goodman. Can you tell me about them?
Okay, so Billy Brown, originally from the Moments.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the song. I found love on a two-way street.
No, I have to look it up. This part was ahead of my time. I don't think I wasn't thought of.
Okay, so that came out in the early '70s.
Oh yeah, I was born 96.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's a really powerful, huge songs. A lot of
Okay.
the
What's the name of the song again? I'm gonna look it up.
I found love on a
I
two-way
found
street.
love. Okay.
I found love on a two-way street by
Okay.
by the Moments.
Okay.
That was Billy Brown original group. Then they reinvented themselves and they came out in the late '70s as Ray Goodman and Brown.
Okay.
Okay. You don't know the song. Must Be a Special Lady. You can look that up too.
Okay.
Billy, I'm going to tell you, one of the nicest guys you ever want to meet. You know, like this business, you either meet really great people
One day I will.
or you meet a-holes. You know what I'm
You
saying?
said L's? Oh.
Yeah. Billy is one of the nicest people that I ever met, you know. So so he was doing a recording and I was in the recording studio with him and I just happened to get on one of his songs. So I believe this everything is slated for it to come out this year.
Okay.
So
And
yeah.
how was it performing with them, like going on tour and
I
playing?
never performed. I never performed with Billy.
Okay.
You know, I just did studio work with
Studio
these.
work? Okay. Okay. Because
Don't
I saw in your bio you said that you work with them and I was like, oh,
okay.
okay.
So maybe that's misleading, but worked with them from a recording aspect.
Okay, recording.
Maybe
Okay.
that needs to be corrected.
Okay.
The only
Sorry about
art,
that. Oh, okay.
no, that's not your fault. The only artist that I performed with was Marion Meadows.
Okay.
and
Okay.
I did a recording with him as
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, the last thing I want to talk about, who will you say that gives you some of the best business advice?
That's business advice pertaining to music, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, well, of course, uh, Ronnie was a great mentor.
Mhm.
Uh, He's a little older than I am, so a lot of the advice that he gave, resonated with me growing up. Um, a lot of the preparation came from my my father.
Okay.
Yeah, my father was very instrumental in shaping the way I think about uh, the arts and people, and pretty much dealing with people, and knowing what's a good situation and what's not a good situation. And honestly, even today, like Ronnie and I, we talk a lot about
That's
the
good.
business, about, you know, and he, a lot of his experiences, he's talking from experience. And a lot of times you have to listen when people have a little bit more experience than you do.
Yeah, 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 you have to listen. Sometimes it's hard, but you have to listen.
Yeah, that's our problem. That's a lot of the problems with the youth. Uh, they had the people that been through it. They already have the wisdom.
Mhm.
They already have it, and we need to, kind of like take heed and just relax and listen a little bit. I've talked to Marion. Um, he's gave some advice, and I sit back and I listen because these guys are already there or already done where I'm trying to go. So I normally listen and I learn and I lay back and I be cordial.
Mhm.
I don't press people. I never have, and I because I know people are busy. Everybody has a journey. You know,
Mhm.
and I'm taking my journey, and 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 I think one of the best things that I could say is be humble,
Yes.
but have that eye of the tiger when you go out there. Don't be so laid back, and be aggressive in what you want to do, and stick to it.
Mhm.
Stick to it, because if you make the right moves, um, sometimes things are falling into place. And there's times you may get sidetracked. You know, a lot of people get sidetracked because of, well, I need money. I gotta stop for a second and I gotta go do this or whatever. But it's a hard journey, and I'm not saying it's easy. It's not
Mhm.
easy.
No,
You
it's not.
know,
No.
anybody in the music business will tell you it's not easy. You
Okay.
know? Now, if you surround yourself with people that really want to do something, that really want to do it, not just talking, not just acting the part, because you have a lot of actors out there, a lot of people who want to act like managers. They just
And they're
like
really not.
it. Really not. And I always say, as an artist, if I know more than you know as a manager, you're not going to be my manager. Because I study all the time. I read and I try to learn from
Do
the
your
guys
research. Yep.
before me, the wisdom. You know, so and I've always been open to kind of give a little bit of wisdom to other people that are trying, that maybe didn't get as far as I've gotten, or that are younger. I'll give you an example. There was a guy. uh, Dean Charles, Dean Charles, keyboard player, and I had a recording studio. And these five little kids, literally, like little kids, had this aspiration to be singers. And they came in and, you know, they just wanted to see the studio. And then I ended up sitting down with them uh, for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. And I showed them everything and I told them what they need to do, the game plan. And they sung for me. And I was so shocked. I was like blown away because these kids were they
Talented.
they were just very talented. Harmonies, everything, they was just there. So, and all I could do was give advice. So I gave them advice. Well, years later, this guy, Dean, went to play for Brian McKnight, Raphael Sadiq, and all these guys, right? And he calls me up saying, Eric, I never forget what you did for me. I
Mm-hmm.
never forget. He says, now I want to do something for you. They need a guitarist. I didn't take it though, because I
Mm-hmm.
was in a
Oh,
different
you
place.
didn't? Okay.
No, Raphael Sadiq was looking for a guitarist, and I was in a different place at the time.
Okay.
So, but he said, I'm the music director. And he said, and he always tells me, I can never forget how you took the time with us. That was the most important thing that he talked about, that I was able to take time with him and pass it on because I had a recording studio. I was
Mm-hmm.
in business for like 15 years. So, yeah, yeah, I think that's something that all of us musicians or people in the music business need to stop and just give a moment to somebody that's trying, you and it could go either way. It could go either way because, and Ronnie and I've talked about this too. Uh, there were some people that, because I had a recording studio and had access to know-how, uh, people that were closer to me thought that I could, just do something for them. I was trying to give them advice, but they got upset because I didn't jump to do something for them. And it's not about jumping all the time to do something for somebody. It was like I was trying to make a living, and I was trying to explain that to the person. And then I saw that that person was bitter for maybe the next 10 years because I never was able to uh, get that person in the studio to do something because I was booked and I was trying to make money and I was trying to make a living at the time. So a lot of people don't really understand the situations when they see people doing things. You don't really know a lot of the producers or people that have done work for major artists. You don't know their situations.
Mm-hmm.
You really don't know what
Right.
you're up against. Uh, so a lot of advice I give is be patient.
Yes.
I learned this from going to music conventions years ago. You can't network and think that you get somebody's card and 2 weeks later you're calling them, asking them to do something for you. You
Right.
have to establish a
Don't wait
relationship.
till the last minute.
You have to establish a relationship. A relationship could take you a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years.
Hmm.
That's how long it takes sometimes to establish relationships.
I'm glad you said that because you can meet a person once and then you just, you're close. Yeah, you have a good connection, like you said.
Yeah,
Yeah, you can meet somebody one time and you be like, oh, we're in
yeah,
good terms.
yeah,
You can meet
yeah,
somebody twice, you in good terms. But that one time, you be like, okay, we can work together. And I'm
yeah.
glad you bringing up about the musicians, the music industry, because I believe that's very important. I always tell my guests is, well, first I want to ask you, can you tell all of us why it's hard to stay humble, and we try our best to stay humble, and it's like, how do we, why it's hard to stay humble?
Okay, for me,
Mm-hmm.
and I've learned this in the recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of different ordeals, and with some major artists, I had certain ordeals too. Uh, I've had. I give you one scenario. I remember I got with these group of guys, and and we had a business meeting with a record label.
Mm-hmm.
I was the most musical guy in the group on the instruments. I did a lot of the recordings, produced, and all that stuff. The other guys were singers, but what they did, they were a little afraid of me. So what they did is when they set the meeting time, they told me the meeting would be an hour later than the actual meeting time. So I show up a half hour before time, waiting for them, and trying to call them, waiting for them outside the building, all that stuff. Next thing I know, I go up. I said, they're not here yet. So I go to where the office is, thinking that they'll show up. Next thing I know, they're coming out the office. They already had the meeting. They left me out of the meeting.
Wow.
So from that point on, that's when I called them up. But I had all the music. See, I had the music.
See?
They had tapes, but I had the masters. And I had to tell them, I says, listen, I got the masters, and I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. So I dealt with that situation. I had songs taken from me. I'm not even going to say the names of artists, major,
Wow.
major artists.
The music industry is a mess.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be a mess.
It
So,
really don't. It really don't.
it
People
doesn't.
just decide to be that way. Yeah.
So when I come around bad energy,
Mm-hmm.
when I come around bad energy from a standpoint of, there's an ego, there's egos, and there's this and there's that.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, I run the other way. Because I've learned so much that I've done a lot on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that if I needed to forge ahead, I don't have to be a star. That's what they call it, right? A star.
You just doing it because you was called to do this.
Exactly. I love doing
And you enjoy performing. You
enjoy.
enjoy going to the studio,
Yeah.
and you just enjoy the gift that
Yeah,
you had. I gave you. Yeah.
one night I was playing in the club, and the guy said to me, "Man, I'm from out of town, and you took that solo. Man, you just brought tears to my eyes. You make that guitar.
You can play. You can play. You're a genius when you play that guitar.
Well, thank you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like when you talk about the late Tito Jackson, the late Prince, and BB King, all the guitar players not here anymore. You're on that list.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. And
And
I'm
if I
glad and I'm glad you said that you're not trying to be a star. You're not trying to sell million. People always talk about the millions platforms. You're not trying to be that type of person. You want to be a private
yeah,
artist, and
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, to be a private artist, because
A
it's
lot of
good to be private. Look, all
yeah,
this stuff is happening.
right. Some of the artists, Marion said this, and even
Yeah.
Ronnie expressed it to a degree. Don't confine me to a genre of music. I do music. That's what I do.
You do music,
Period.
and that's your calling.
That's your calling, and I love doing it.
And
And
I
I'm
know
going
some people was telling you, like, no, you didn't do it this way. I know, no, you should do it my way, or you should do this gift. And you're like, that's your gift. I have my own gift.
well,
I know you.
where a lot of people get caught up is the fame. They become stargazers.
What is it again?
Stargazing. They're stargazing. Like,
Explain that to me. Yeah, explain that to us.
okay, let's say, for instance, okay, we know how bad the music business is right now.
Mm-hmm.
We know what's going on with the music business. What did Prince said? It needs to be torn down. There's nothing minor about us.
That's why he wrote the word slave on his face.
Yeah, and we can build it back up.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be torn down because of all the court stuff that's going on now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when you hear all the stuff that went on, you're almost like, how ugly is this business? Like, how ugly? So a lot of those people never got a chance to express their artistry.
Nope. They got
They
caught up.
they got caught up and they hung around because they were stargazing, thinking that, oh my God, I'm hanging out with this person, I'm hanging out with that person. And then eventually they stargazing so much they lost focus. And then they
Mm-hmm.
sold their soul,
Mm-hmm.
never put out any material because that's not what that person was trying to do. Because they knew that they had that person because that person was stargazing. They had that person's mind already, you know? So, like, if you're an artist, and most artists, they stand firm on what they want to do. A lot of artists know what direction they want to go. If you're an artist and you can stay focused, I've met a lot of people, and there were people that I know that put out artists. Um, some are iconic artists, uh, and I was like, "Whoa, I don't want to be here," because something happened in the room when I was in, and I was like thinking, "This is not the way I want to make it."
I've been hearing stories about rooms. I'm like,
So, so,
yeah, I've been hearing a lot.
so my thing was,
You're not the only one that's saying this. You're not the
yeah,
only one. Yeah.
so, yeah. So, you know, technology is coming out. The world is getting smaller.
Mm-hmm.
There's a way for each artist to make monetize their own creation and make money from it. You know, and that's the way it's going towards now. It has to go that way in order for us to survive. You know,
Mm-hmm.
if God is willing, if we all survive in this climate. But at the same time, you know, you can't sell your soul.
No,
You
you
can't
cannot.
start it. If somebody walks in the room and they're a big star, yeah, you're happy. You know, oh my God, that's so and so, so and so. You know, but don't like drool and oh my God, I got to really get to know that guy. If it's meant for you to know that artist, and that artist really wants to know you and think that you're a good person, and just happen to say, yeah, let me go sit next to this guy. He's just kind of quiet, and or this woman over here, and small talk, and the next thing you know, it just evolves into something. Because artists get tired of people like grabbing at them and on them, and hey, can you call me? Give me a call, and can I get your
Yeah.
number and all that stuff.
I
You know,
just
they
want
get
to take a picture and tell who I am. I tell you about my podcast and I tell you, I just want to take a picture. I love your music and that's it. You
you,
know, don't be a groupie.
but you and like I say, you just got to be very
Aware what you do.
aware, be almost like aware to the point where you can see through the BS of almost anybody,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'll tell this to anybody: when I see BS and I see negativity, I run the other way
Yeah.
because
Fast.
that negativity can hold you down. And
Yes.
if you surround yourself with the right people and you have a good heart and you have, you know, patience and you're forging ahead without always calling somebody and depending on them to bring you somewhere or to bring you to another level, it can have you're gonna worry yourself to death, and you're gonna be down on yourself. You're gonna resonate negativity in your heart. You're gonna be negative, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But if you just set out to do what you want to do and just focus on that, and then attract the people that have the same ideals that you do, then you can become successful. And I
Right.
just happened to I knew Ronnie for years. It wasn't my time back then,
Right.
but define success. Define success. What is success to a musician or artist? Where does your success? Where do you find success? I find success as, guess what? I'm a guitarist. I learned how to play the guitar. Now
Um,
that's my success.
mm-hmm.
If I want to put now if I want to put my artistry out there on vinyl or CD or a file to pass it on when I'm gone, then that's what I'm doing. And if it becomes successful and we make money at doing what we want to do, because we're trying to make money at it, because this is what we do. And if people can appreciate us enough where they want to support us, then that would be great. That would be great. That that would be successful if we all, that's people on my team, can make money and say, hey, we did it. We're making a living. We're making a great money through our
Mm-hmm.
artistry. Now that's the other type of success. But I'm already successful as a guitar player.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's what I learned to do.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
you are well known in the music industry, especially being a musician. Yeah, people don't give some people I noticed some people don't give musicians a lot of credit and they should. If it wasn't for you guys, the singers won't sound good. The background singers won't sound good. So we need musicians, we need you guys to help us, you know.
you
So
need
that's
you,
why I'm doing this interview because I mainly interview like singers and stuff like that. And I said, I'm gonna start interviewing musicians, producers, you know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Let me
Because that's
let me
yeah,
tell, let me tell you this. Talk
because we
about
need we need musicians.
yeah,
Yeah.
talk about credit. There was a time when musicians, local musicians and musicians from all over, they, there was always that challenge of, you have the rap battles, and you had your blues battles, you
Hmm.
had your jazz battles, jazz musicians, you had your battles, and that's part of the almost the protocol to make you better. You know, now there when you have, like, say, a band, all right, and the major artists did it. The last time I saw is when James Brown literally called, said Michael Jackson was in the audience.
Oh, that was an awesome concert.
Yeah, then said Prince was in the audience. Well,
Nobody didn't know he was there.
right, right. But there was a time locally with local musicians, they would actually pay homage to the musician that came out to see them and say, hey, so and so is in the audience. Everybody give him a round of applause. He's from the so and so band. People don't do that anymore. What people
Oh, they
do is
don't.
that they ignore you. I remember there's a couple of guys I played with as musicians, and I went to see them, and they never even acknowledged me. I used to play with these guys for years,
They never
right?
mention your name, so you just up there
I
playing.
was in the audience, but that didn't bother me because that doesn't bother me. That's the type of
I
person.
love that. Yeah, and some
But
and
what that does is make me see, oh, I see how this works.
hmm
I see what's going on. But I went up to the stage and, said to everybody, you sound great, you sound great, you sound great. And one guitar player says, well, who are you? To me. I says, I'm Eric Leone, man. I'm just Eric Leone. And I says, you sound great. That's all I wanted to say. It was almost like he got offended, but it was almost like he was expecting or something.
expecting
And,
more.
and I
Yeah.
said to myself, it's just so much negativity. It doesn't even have to be this. But you know what? I'm taking my journey. I take my journey. And
Mhm.
if I fail or if something doesn't pan out the way I want to, it's on me.
He wanted you to brag, like, because some people do brag about themselves. They say, "Who are you?" And then they start brag, "I'm this, I'm that." You just
Yeah,
said, "I'm Eric Leone," and
I'm
I
just.
guess he felt like,
I
okay,
didn't tell him I was a
and
guitarist. I didn't tell him who I was. I didn't tell him, oh, I know
right,
you guys. I didn't.
because
I
he
just
saw you.
I just
He
said
saw you playing.
I said I'm Eric Leone. Shook his hand and left.
Right,
So, but the negativity, like I said, when I see that, I run the other way
right.
because everybody doesn't have a good heart. And if
Right.
we can establish uh, of people, there's a couple of guys here in Connecticut that do have good hearts. I don't want to call his name, but there's one guy, he showcases all of the artists on his page. I think that's one of the greatest things, uh, shows like yours that brings on musicians and not just the main artists. That's a great thing too,
Mm-hmm.
because that's another starting point for us to start building again. You
Yes.
know, because like I said, the world becomes smaller and smaller, and a lot of people know musicians in different states now. It's not just
Mm-hmm.
local, you know. And you're from Ohio, right?
Yeah, Lima, Ohio. I'm nearby. I'm close by Dayton, Toledo.
Yeah, Dayton. Now, Ohio is notoriously famous for all the musicians that came
Oh
out of
yes, we have
Ohio.
history in the music industry.
Oh my
Oh, yeah,
God,
we have. Yeah, we are like on the map. Yeah,
yeah,
Ohio.
almost
We have
everybody in
a lot of
R&B came
history.
out.
Yeah, Ohio have a lot of history. A
Yeah,
lot of groups from Ohio.
oh yeah,
They put R&B on the map.
exactly. Great
Mm-hmm.
musicians. I
Yep.
mean, Ohio players,
Oh
Dayton,
yeah.
the group Dayton,
Yeah,
James
Zappin,
Ingram,
Zappin
the
Roger,
Ingram
not a
brothers,
Zappin.
yeah,
LeBert. Uh,
Levert,
yeah. Oh, the OJs.
OJ, yeah,
And who?
Bootsy Collins,
Huh?
Bootsy
Oh yeah,
is it?
Boosie. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know
yeah.
some people from? Oh, do you know a lot of artists from Ohio? Do you know them?
Actually, I know of two brothers called the Gaines brothers.
Gaines
Yeah,
Brothers.
that's my
Okay.
actually that's like my family's name. They don't live in Ohio anymore.
Oh, okay.
I think one moved out west. I think another one. Yeah, I met them through Marion Meadows in this band and their musicianship. And when they told me they were from Ohio, I says, "Oh my God, no wonder."
Oh yeah, we had
you
some.
know,
We had
these
and we
guys,
still have some talented artists in Ohio. Hey,
oh, yeah, I
Ohio.
know you do. I know you do.
Hmm.
And
Oh yeah.
yeah, Ronnie resides out in Ohio now, right?
Hmm.
So there you go. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot of artists all over the place, but yeah, you got a lot of great artists. A lot of great artists. There was another guy from Ohio. I bring up his name, Harold Sargent. He helped a lot of musicians here in Hartford. From what I understand, he gave Bootsy his first bass in Ohio. Harold's no longer
Wow.
living, but he was just that type of guy that just gave love with music. You know what I mean? And almost I can call up people right now and just mention his name, and people would just talk about him like, man, he was one of the best guys ever because he helped the music thrive in this area. You know, and that's important. Music is very important to our
Oh yeah.
existence.
All right. So last question. If
Okay.
a young artist came up to you or anybody and they say that, hey, I want to be a part of, I want to be a musician, I want to be a producer, what kind of words of wisdom you would tell them why it's important to read contracts very carefully and have good people around you, and why it's important to have good people around you, and why it's important to read contracts very carefully.
Well, okay, so to have good people around you and to read contracts for a young artist. Um, well, first of all, try to know your instrument inside
Mm-hmm.
out. Try to, uh, a lot of people specialize in certain music, but I'm still, I practice a lot. I'm still practicing. I'm still learning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my journey is like a never-ending journey when it comes to sound. It's like sound is very important, but I'm still
Mm-hmm.
learning. I study different genres of music, first of all. And until you can uh, hone in on your skills on your instrument, then doors will probably start opening for you. And I would say, read uh, what's going on in the music business, learn everything there is to know with the music business today, because the music business actually changes like literally every 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like every medium that comes out from vinyl to cassette tapes to CDs, it's changing because when CDs came out, it was cheaper to make CDs than it was to make cassette tapes because of the plastic. No, I was to the point where I knew what music was bringing in the most money when I started getting into the music business. And it was R&B music back in the
Mm-hmm.
80s, whereas pop music was actually failing. They were getting some radio play, but black music was actually killing it. I mean, they
Yeah.
had a big part of the pie, you know. So what I'm saying is that you're not going to learn everything. That's number one, because there's just too much stuff
Yeah,
out
it
there.
is.
So you really want to start establishing relationships. Just call somebody up that's in the music business that you think is a good person that you met, and just says, "Hey, I'm just calling to say hi, man." Not to press them about when can you get me in to the studio? When can you help me with my project? No, start a relationship, because that one person might say, "Oh, wait a minute, so and so. Oh yeah, that's right. So and so that calls me. We've been talking for 3 years, 4 years now. Oh, there's an audition over here for such and such band. They're going on tour, or oh, they need a writer over here. Maybe so and so. I heard what he can do. Yeah, maybe I'll call him
Mm-hmm.
up, because you never know when that might happen. You never know. So it, don't always call people and press them about what they can do for you. You have to kind of like, you have to make friends first. You have to, and then that way you can start seeing a person for who they are, you know and you might enter some business endeavor with a person right away, and the next thing you know, you're getting ripped off. you know I mean, you can get ripped off on local levels just by playing with bands. There's always the top guy taking all the money, and then what he does, he makes sure he gets all the money, and then he gives you little or nothing,
Mm-hmm.
in local situations. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Yeah. And then you start seeing, wait a minute, the percentages are not adding up right. So it's even to the point of who you are around from a local level and you're playing with. If there's respect there, then there's something there. If there's no respect there and people don't respect you, you know, even if you just try to say hi to them, there's no sense of even going that route. Everybody's got their own journey.
Right.
A lot of the groups that you see, um, back in the day, a lot of the R&B groups, and it dawned on me. It was like an epiphany for me, where, let's say, Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang were out there, and they were the biggest groups, but they never met until 6 years or 10 years or maybe even 20 years down the line. They were so busy creating for themselves, doing their music, that, oh, yeah, we know who Earth, Wind and Fire is, but we're doing what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Earth, Wind and Fire is like, we're doing what we're doing. We're forging ahead. Yeah, that's a good song by that guy. Who is that group again? Oh, that's good. But we got business to take care of.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get some shows. Let's do what we do. Let's get out there. Let's make our music. Let's get good writers. Let's get good producing. And let's stick together as a band. That's where the word band came from. You band together. A lot of people today, they don't band together because of technology. But back then, that's
Oh
what
yeah.
they did. And these guys didn't meet until 10, 15 years later. So my point is stay focused. Take your journey. stay focused.
And keep personal
Don't
things
look left.
private too.
You might even have people say to you, which I have, hey, yo, you need to come down and check out this guitar player down here, man. You know, well, how about the keyboard player? How about no? Check out the guitar player. He's a little better than you, probably. You know, that kind of thing. I had that happen in the past, but guess what? No, I don't have time for that. He's if he's good, let him take his own
Right.
journey. I'm going. I got to go this
Right.
way. You know, and don't always let people know what you're doing.
Keep things personal. Keep things private, especially personal
Keep things,
things.
yeah, because a lot of times people will, if they end up knowing the same people, you know, guess what? They might even go around you and say, hey, I don't know if you should work with that guy for
And you
whatever
be
reason,
like, why?
because they
Why?
just
What do they do?
so that my thing is forge ahead, just forge ahead, do what you do, and get it out there. I have some young musicians, and that I talk to every now and then. They literally text me, say, "Hey, listen to this." I remember one guy says, "The mix, the rapping is good. It's not my style of music, but the mix I can tell because I'm a musician and I own the recording studio." I would give advice, and then I would say, "Well, what are you doing to monetize? Are you putting it out there? You need to package that.
Mm-hmm.
Package that. You know, there was a time where the package had to be better than the product." You know, these are the little elements that people don't even think of nowadays. But packaging could be from the way the artist looks, the looks of the artist, how how what the mannerism is of the artist, and how the package looks on their, let's say vinyl is back, the vinyl, you know, how you're gonna package it. Just take care of your business. Don't let your business run you. You run your
Right.
business. Stay focused. And that's what I would say. Learn your instrument, stay focused, run your business. And don't worry about everybody else.
Just stay focused. Yep.
Just stay
Wow, Eric.
focused
Wow.
and
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
meet quality people. So that's it.
Well, Eric, it was I was honored to have you on the Amani Dillard Show live on my YouTube podcast channel and Facebook. And thank you for taking your time giving us words of wisdom about the music industry and also being a musician. And what
Yeah.
you told us, I mean, you should write a book. Yeah, I learned a lot from you today. And make sure you guys download all his songs on all platforms. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
And you can
you
sing
know,
too. I like your singing voice. I like it. Yeah.
well, thank
Yeah.
you. I'm still
Oh,
practicing
you
that,
good. You're good.
but my
You
my
did
forte
good.
is
Oh,
actually,
yeah, you did really good.
yeah.
And make sure you guys follow him on social media too. What's the name of the resources everybody can follow you at? I mean find you at.
Well, first of all, I like to. My mood was one of the latest singles. Is the latest singles
My
that's
Mood.
out.
Okay.
It's all over the world,
I like that one. Yep.
and Imagine. That's
Yeah.
the Melba Moore and I did a song Imagine. Then there's a whole version of an instrumental for Imagine, and then there's Night Breeze. These are the three latest songs out there. So if you could look those songs up and just keep an ear out for when the CD is coming out. I would really appreciate it if there was
Oh
support
yeah.
from people
Yeah.
because it's part of keeping the music alive.
Yes.
I'm not trying to get wealthy. I'm just trying to get wealthy enough to be able to do what I
Yeah.
am doing.
Yeah.
And that's it. And everybody's doing the
And
same
that's
thing.
your goal. That's your
Um,
goal to be a musician, a singer. Yeah, travel. Yeah.
yeah. So be on the lookout for Eric Leone,
Oh
and
yeah. Yep.
hopefully next year I'll be touring.
Yeah.
And if things go according to plan, you're going to be hearing a lot of stuff. because some of the artists. But Marion released his CD, so check out Marion Meadows. I'm on one of his
I'm gonna
songs
check.
there. Check out Andre. Check out Andre
Yeah,
Ward.
Andre Ward. He's like one of the best saxophone players out
He's
there.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then you got
Yeah,
Melba
I would
Moore.
love to see
You
you
know,
guys together on tour. You and Member Moore, like she's on tour and
yeah,
she take
yeah.
you with her. I would love to see that. That
That's
would
a
be an
great
awesome
opportunity.
tour.
That's a great possibility. There's already been talk about a lot of that stuff. So we have to see what's coming down the line as soon as we get our CD, the whole compilation done.
Okay.
You know, of the CD album or what have you. But yeah, there's a lot.
Okay.
There's a lot there.
Yeah. Well, again, thank you for coming on the Amani Dilla show and make sure you guys follow him on social media. Follow him on social media. Let's support each other. Yeah, support Eric
Yeah,
Leone. Yeah, keep your eyes, keep
yeah,
your ears open because something's good is going to happen. Something good is going to
yeah.
happen. Yeah.
And you can follow me, friend me on Facebook, and you know, I like to kind of check out and see who's who on Facebook and who's what. I have some supportive musicians on there, and I have a lot of supportive people that I grew up with. It really warms my heart sometimes when I hear from these people and they share every little bit of detail about me because that tells me a lot about that individual that they're really rooting for me.
Hmm.
We don't have enough
No,
of
you
that
don't. No, because
today.
people want to look at the ones who's very well known. They always
Right,
you always seeing them in a spotlight. I mean, I do
right,
both. The ones who is private and the ones
yeah,
who's not private, and it's like
right, right.
it's too much Hollywood in the industry, fame,
It's too much. It's too
if
much.
I can't be well known, if I don't make um like you said, if I can be a superstar, I mean, people just sold their soul and they fall apart and then they just get really
Yeah.
depressed and upset and then
Oh, yeah, you hear about the artists nowadays talking how
yeah,
depressed and
they
upset and broke
depressed, they
they are.
just, yeah,
Yeah,
they're not themselves because you allow fame to control your
no,
career and you're not allowing
right.
fame or Hollywood or the record sales to control your fame. You just doing it because you love to do it, you know.
If people, okay, so look at it from this standpoint. We have our award show, and I'm not going to say any really big name award shows, but we have award
Mhm.
shows. And there's two ways to think about an artist. Either they're a spectacle
Mhm.
or they're talented, real talent. I'm thinking we should have an award show for talent, the voice, the artistry.
Yeah.
We don't need where where somebody could. I never forget. There's a woman in Virginia, where my family is
Mhm.
from, and my grandmother helped build this church, and so my whole family used to go to this church. But there was a lot of
What's the name of the
people
church?
that weren't in my. Oh
It's
Jesus
okay if you don't
Christ!
remember. It's okay.
I'm trying to remember my cousins on there. Maybe they can say something. I forgot the name of the church, but uh, so we used to go to this church, and I remember going back, throughout the years, and there was this one lady, and
Oh wow.
she was a great singer. I mean, like she was sitting in the back of the church because she was a heavy set lady.
Mhm.
I used to tell my sisters and brothers, and I says, man, I hope this lady don't come today, man, to church. She's gonna make me cry.
Oh,
She used to sing
them old songs, them hymn
and the,
songs.
she she would the choir would get up and sing, And then all of a sudden, you hear this voice in the back overpowering the choir.
Oh, okay.
And I was sitting in church and I'm like, oh my God, all of a sudden tears are coming down my eyes because of her voice.
Felt the
You know,
anointed.
they
You
talk
felt the
about
anointed.
the anointing, they're talking about the anointing one,
Mhm.
right? So it's like, wow, that was God given
Mhm.
talent. We need a lot more of that because it comes from the heart,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
There's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't come from the heart,
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope.
you know. So that's all I'm saying. It's talent is where we should
Talented.
go.
Yeah, talent.
Uh,
That's what they're
and
missing, the
we
rewards.
and with you know, if musicians they get better at treating each other better and coming to one common goal, and artists and your show and all the other podcast shows that are out there, this is a great vehicle, nucleus for the beginning of all that and rebuilding and rebranding, you know. And that's where I'm at with it, you know. Just be a good entertainer, and your people who would want to follow you and support you probably will come, you know, and treat everybody cordial. That's all. Just be nice.
Thank you.
We need more love
Yes,
in the
we do.
world.
We do need love in the world instead of hatred. Yeah, if we have love in the world, life will be easy. Yeah.
Yep.
Once again, thank
Yep.
you for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. Let's keep in
Thank you,
touch,
Monty.
and when it's time for you to come back on tour, I'm gonna invite you again and we can talk about your tour dates. Yeah. I'm
That would be
excited.
great. That
Yeah.
would be great.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I'm glad you
Oh
reached
yeah,
out
I
to
had
me. And
to. I had to. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
we'll be in
yeah.
touch.
All
We'll be
right.
in touch.
Well, thank
Okay.
once again, thank you for coming on the Imani Dillis show. I really appreciate it. I appreciate sharing
Well, thanks for
your
having me.
story. Yep. All right. You have a great
Thank
day
you.
and happy holiday.
You as well. Thank you very much.
All
Happy
right.
holidays to you.
And thank you everybody
All right.
for watching us live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And also the comments too. Somebody named Michael
Oh
said
yeah.
hello. Please.
Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Robin and Matt and
And let me
Michael
scroll down.
Barker. Oh, Michael Barker. Yeah, Michael Barker. I know
Yeah.
Michael. Oh, Celeste Still. I know her
Mm-hmm.
too. These people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for the
Oh,
compliments,
yeah.
y'all.
Yeah. Thank you for your yeah. We want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Well,
All right.
you have a great holiday and have a good day. Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
All
Thank you,
right.
Manny.